competition. Both teams have taken first innings points and healthy leads over their semi-final opponents. In semi-final number 1 at Friendship, Combermere totally outplayed Harrison College, and they'll be carrying a triple-figure lead into tomorrow's second and final day. Combermere won the toss and sent Harrison College into bat, and it proved to be a boss decision, as they decided to open the bowling with the leg spin of Indal Prasad from the southern end, and he got straight to business in his second over when he had Harley Mosley caught by Kai Rollins at mid-wicket for 5 when the score was just 8. College only had one bright spot, well, make that a semi-bright spot, in William Gordon. He accounted for half of his team's score, here driving through cover point for 4. That was off the pace of Rollins, and the next over he went through the same area again, this time off Prasad for another boundary. That took the College score to 18. But what appeared to be the beginning of a rainbow for College was really the beginning of the end, as the next 9 wickets fell for 10 runs. First, skipper John Lee Jordan is smartly stumped by Jonathan Dougling off Prasad for 1. The score 19 for 2. Then Prasad struck again. This time Hayden Hart was caught behind. Dougling, the keeper, caught the ball and he also whipped off the bails, but the standing umpire raised his finger first, so the batsman apparently was gone either way. 23 for 3. Rollins then joined the party, first having Gordon bowled comprehensively for 14. Then, with his very next ball, he had Leonard Orero caught behind, leaving College 23 for 5. 2 wickets off of 2 balls, but Rollins just couldn't convert the hat-trick. Combermere later decided to mix things up a bit, with skipper Jadane Clark replacing Prasad at the south. But you just couldn't keep Prasad out of the game. He took this spectacular catch at cover to dismiss Ajah Hill for 0. The score now 27 for 6. And would you believe it, that in this type of trouble, College would still get a batsman run out? Jabari Hunt looking for a non-existent single, and he was also quite nonchalant in getting back to his crease. He's gone for 4, 28 for 7. And from the north came the small Nicholas Austin, who had the Kerry Taylor playing down the round line and being bowled for 1, 28 for 8. Now this delivery could have been the ball of the innings. Clark produced a Yorker that Tor Burrows didn't expect, and he didn't negotiate. 28 for 9. Then, the final rights. Caleb Gibbs didn't read the off break and was bowled by Austin Gibbs for 0. 28 all out in 20.2 overs. Combermere had absolutely no problems in reaching College's first inning score. Actually, they knocked it off without loss. Seth Agard here sweeping to backward square for 4. And Matthew Ford here pulling through behind square as well for another boundary, as Combermere went to break on 60 without loss after 12 overs. That was the lead of 32 at that stage. Combermere went on to make 198 of 34.3 overs. Jonathan Dougling top scored with 52, while John Lee Jordan took 4 for 29 and William Gordon 4 for 39. College in their second innings ended the day on 5 for 1. That gives Combermere an overall lead of 165. Now in the other semi-final at Desmond Haynes Oval, Queen's College picked up first innings points over the Allen School thanks to a century from Nico Reefer and a 5-wicket haul from Darian Trotman. CBC's Marsha Boyce reports.
Queen's College won the toss and elected to bat against Allen. The umpire would signal runs, so Captain Nico Reefer was off the mark with a boundary from the very first delivery. Fellow opener Dijon Hunt was just settling in when he was given out caught behind off Hans Campbell for 1. QC losing their first wicket with 11 runs on the board. Jaden Holligan picked up the attack for Allen from the southern end, but Reefer dispatched him through the covers for 4. Gabriel Marshall took a while to get going. 4 overs would pass before he got off the mark, here picking up his lone boundary of the match. At least he held up his end while Reefer ensured the runs kept coming. That's 6 off Holligan. QC now 58 for 1 in the 12th over. Marshall struggled a bit at the other end, having some difficulty rotating the strike, but he got a let-off when he was on 9, dropped off Saquon Lovell, who had just come into the attack. Aline went with spin from both ends, but still couldn't contain Reefer, his second 6 of the match. QC now 71 for 1 after 17 overs. Reefer soon brought up his half-century, and he did it in style. Another boundary, this time off D'Angelo Springer. QC 84 for 1 at that stage. The 77-run partnership was finally broken by Lovell. Marshall looking to push on, he offered up an easy catch to Campbell. He was gone for 14, QC now 88 for 2. Ajani Ince joined Reefer at the crease, and they would take QC past the 100 mark. Ince going back down the ground for its first boundary. Aline captain Shaquan Glasgow came on from the northern end, but by this time Reefer was eyeing a century and was in full attacking mode. He picked up consecutive boundaries off the bowler, taking the score to 135 for 2 with 5 overs remaining. He would lose a partner in Ince, who was caught behind off Campbell for 18. Those two added 57 runs for the third wicket. Then Jazz Griffith was bowled without scoring by Glasgow. QC now 152 for 4. On 99, Reefer almost gifted his wicket away, not handling the full toss well, but nonetheless getting the single to bring up a well-deserved century. The QC skipper leading his troops with the bat. Glasgow, though, would pick up some late wickets for Aline. Jamal Burke was caught by Campbell for 1. And for his third scalp, he finally got Reefer, and it took an excellent effort by Akeem Towler to get the dismissal. Reefer gone for the top score of 103, a knock that included 10 fours and 2 sixes. QC 160 for 6 with an over remaining. They would get 8 runs off the final over. Darian Trotman was run out off the last delivery. QC finishing on 168 for 7 of their 35 overs. Marcia Boyce, CBC Sports.
Thanks, Marcia. And in reply, the Aline were bowled out for 116 in 33.5 overs. Shaquan Glasgow top scored with 30. Trotman was the pick of the QC bowlers with 5 for 18 from 7 overs, while Jabrail Marshall took 3 for 32. QC will begin day 2 with an overall lead of 52. It's exactly 1 year to go before the Rio 2016 Olympic Games in Brazil, but there are concerns over some of the venues to be used for the event. The World Rowing Federation is currently testing the water in Rio de Janeiro for viruses after a report suggested that there are high levels of raw sewage.
The problem is the smell, and that's because there is literally so much raw sewage here. The odors keep coming up, and this is the lake that's going to be hosting not only the rowing but the canoeing events during the Olympic Games. Sometimes the situation is so bad that you'll find the surface coated with dead fish. And it's a similar situation at Guanabara Bay, which will be hosting the sailing event. The problem is that only 49% of homes in Rio de Janeiro are connected to sewage lines. The rest of it gets dumped in the water. And according to a new study, there's actually so much